Good evening, everybody. It's Cutler here in the Let's Talk to Cutler broadcast. It's already a Tuesday. It's August the 17th, and we are plowing our way through the month. We're beyond the midpoint of the month already. Listen, I want to say thank you for spending these, or at least deciding to spend these next 1800 seconds with me. This is all about inspiration, motivation, and just making sure that we look and talk about ways that we can show up a little bit better tomorrow than we did today. So that's what this station, this what this channel, that's what this is all about, you all. We're spending some time together, just sharing some nuggets, unpacking them, and seeing how those nuggets can apply to our lives and how we can be enriched by them and enriched by each other's company and space. So do me a favor, if you've never, if this is your first, second, or third time here, make sure that you subscribe. After subscribing, go ahead and do me a favor. Click on the notification bell. It lets you know whenever I've gone live, whenever I've uploaded new content, all of that kind of fun stuff. Usually what I do, I'll start by asking a probing question, and then I'll come back and we'll discuss these quotes for, on Tuesdays, we'll discuss the quotes for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesdays, Thursday, we'll talk about Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But do me a favor, come on over into the chat room and think about this as food for thought just before we get started. Are you, or have you ever been accused of being a one-sided communicator, or does that even exist? Have you ever been accused of being, or have you ever thought you might have been, or have you ever met someone that you thought was a one-sided communicator? Now I have to talk about that as soon as I come back, but before I come back, y'all do me a favor, go ahead and share. Tell somebody Cutler's on. Come on, let's talk to Cutler. I'll be right back.
Let's talk to Cutler. One more thing, like, subscribe and share. Come on, let's talk to Cutler.
All right, here we are, you all. We're back. I'm back. You're back. You're here. I'm back. You're here. You're there. Thank you for sharing and spending these 1800 seconds with me. I appreciate you all so very much. You all know, if this is your first time here, make sure that you go ahead and subscribe. But if this is not your first time, you know that this channel is about inspiration, motivation, and challenging us to show up a little bit better tomorrow than we did today. It does not by any stretch of the imagination mean that today was a wash. It doesn't mean by any stretch of the imagination that today was a total loss. It means we take a moment and we realize that we can always be, become, do, and show up better tomorrow than we did today. All right. So from that vein, in that vein, what we're doing, we are looking at quotes from this book right here, Billboards to Better, 366 Daily Sources of Motivation and Inspiration Along the Highway of Life. This is my 7th book. It is available over on Amazon.com. It is also available through my website at www.gbcutler.com. That's www.gbcutler.com. In a moment, I'm going to shout out the LTTC VIPs, but I want to tell you all this because we are really pretty much at a milestone. We're here at this milestone, and I am so thankful. We've almost covered we've walked through the entire book together. We've walked through this entire book together, and I want to do something. If you all want this, I want to do something for you all. As a way of saying thank you, I want, if you have the book, if you've been here with me, even if you haven't been here for the long haul, I want to send you all one of these bookmarkers. Can you all see these? They are bookmarkers. So if you have this book, I want to send you one of these bookmarkers because you can always put a quote, put the bookmarker to you know what I'm trying to say. I'm so excited until I'm tongue-tied, which rarely happens, by the way. But I want to send you all this just as my way of saying thank you, just as my way of saying I appreciate you spending your time with me, because time is something that you give that you can never get back. Time is one of the most valuable assets that you have, and God knows I never take for granted the time that you all spend here. So if you would like to just go, and I will autograph them for you. If you like to get a bookmarker, just as my way of saying thank you for being with me for the long haul. Thank you for purchasing the book. Thank you for supporting me here on this platform. Just shoot me an email. I'm going to give you my email address, you all. Just shoot me an email with your address, and I will autograph it and I will send it to you. I promise you I will do that. I will autograph the bookmarker and I will send it to you. I might even just send you another personal note on. I have postcards too, so I might even just send you a note on one of the postcards. But it's really just my way of saying thank you. So there's my email address if you want to send me your address, and I can just send you it free, and I can just send you one of those bookmarkers and I'll autograph it. Just my way of saying thank you. I appreciate your time. I don't take it for granted. You've invited me into your homes. You invited me to your personal space. So that's my way of saying thank you. And we will have almost gone through this, and in a couple of more times that we show up, we will have gone through this entire book. All right. So again, thank you all so much. You all know how we do. Let me shout out the LTTC VIPs for just a moment. And let's see who were the first people in the chat room with me. Jackie Cares RN says, good evening, passengers. How's everyone doing? I love that. She checked in and said, how is everyone doing? Chat in the chat. Respond to the chat to let each of your fellow passengers know how you're doing. Annie Cutler, my mother, by the way, says, let's ride. And then Wendy, I think about you, Wendy, up in New York. Wendy says, happy evening, everyone. So good to see you all. Listen, you all go ahead and chat. And what I'm going to do is start reading these quotes. What I understand is this, you all. As we're going through these books, we're going through this book. This is my 7th book. We're only going through this one book. What I understand is this. Some of these quotes seem not to directly apply. They may apply in an ancillary fashion, they may apply in a tangential fashion, or they may apply at a different time. I recognize that. So what I encourage you to do is to just put these quotes in your arsenal, because if they don't pertain to you, just perhaps, maybe, just maybe, they pertain to somebody else in your space, in your social circle, in your network. You never know how you will need to be armed so that you can strengthen other people. Aren't you glad for the people in your lives who were armed with the right things, who had the right things in their arsenal that they could pull out one day just to encourage you and push you to the next level? Let's be that for somebody else. That's why we meet in this space. That's why we share this space and this time. So thank you all for this. Let me go into these quotes for today is Tuesday. So I'm going to get to the quotes for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Let me get started by reading the quote for Sunday, August 15th. And it says, don't worship just so that you can hear, don't worship just so God can hear you, but worship so that you can hear God. Well, you all heard me start with that opening question that says, have you ever been accused of being a one-sided communicator? Do you know people who are one-sided communicators? All of that. Here we go. So when I look back at this quote, I think about people who are sometimes asked, how are you doing? People who are asked, how are you doing? But then when you're asked, how are you doing? Let me say, I think about people who will ask you sometimes, hey, how are you doing? But they never stop to listen to your response. Have you all ever run into people like that? Who will say, all right, Queen of them all, I got you. Your book is coming, and listen, when your book comes, if you drop me your email address, I'll make sure your address, I'll make sure I send you one of these. All right. But have you all ever run into people who will say, hey, how are you doing? And as soon as you start responding, they don't stop to listen to your response. People do that all the time. And why do they do it? How many of us have ever asked people how they were doing, and then we didn't take the time to listen? Or how many of us have ever been asked, hey, how are you doing? How many of you have ever been asked, hey, how are you doing? And then when you started giving your response, you looked around and you realized that the person who asked you had moved on to something else. I look at thank you, Shonda Charwell Walters. Shonda, is this your first time viewing? Please let me know. Please put it in the chat. Let me know if this is your first time viewing. All right, because I thank you, my friend, for being here. And if it is your first time viewing, I want to make sure that all the passengers in the chat room with you, make sure that they send you a special hello. But you all, I looked at this quote and I thought about the number of times when we can be so unfair in our communications and in our conversations, rather, because we only want to get our point across. And we don't want to take the time. We don't want to take the time. We don't want to take the time. We don't want to take the time to even hear the other person. If we are on this highway to better, if we are on this road to better, here is a challenge for us. Let's be better in our communication. There is no such thing as a one-sided communication, because communication, you all, is an exchange of thoughts. It's an exchange of ideas. There is no exchange if only one person is talking. That's not an exchange. That's one person dominating the conversation, not communication. So I offer, even on a spiritual level, even on a spiritual plateau, how many times do we talk to God? You know, we hear all these little songs, have a little talk with Jesus, tell him all about our troubles. And as soon as we finish talking, what do? That's the end of the conversation. Do we even take the time to listen to see if he's going to respond? Do we walk through the next day or the next week trying to make ourselves even open to hear a response? I want to challenge us to be open to the other side of communication. God's and everybody else's. Be open to the other side of communication, you all. Has anybody other than me ever been told, and I just wonder, have you ever been told that I know you hear me, but are you listening? There's a difference between hearing and listening. Hearing rather, is simply perceiving sound. I hear a sound, I hear stuff. That's hearing. Whenever you hear something, whenever a sound is perceived in your ear, that's hearing. But listening means that we pay attention to the sound that we hear. There's a difference, you all. It's just like looking versus seeing. Seeing means that you become aware. Looking means that you just cast your eyes in the direction. Have you ever maybe been talking to somebody on the phone and the person says, "No, I see you. You're looking in my direction, but you don't see me. You're looking in my direction, but you don't see me. I'm right within the sphere of where you're looking, but you don't see me." It's like touching versus feeling. Touching simply means that there's a connection. There's something physically connected to my person, to my body. That's what touching is. But feeling means that I am aware of what I'm touching. I mean, have you ever had your hand on something, been right next to something or somebody, and you realize, oh, you know what I did? I wasn't even aware that I was touching you. Now you were touching, but but that whole piece of feeling was different. And it is the same thing you are with hearing and listening. Don't just hear, but pay attention. This evening, I want to encourage us to be fair in our conversations and to be open to the second side, the other side of communication. Y'all know I'm from the country. I think it's rude to want to be heard, but not be willing to hear. I think it's rude to hold people hostage to speaking and communicating to us or conversing with us the same way that we necessarily converse with them. I think it's rude sometimes to hold God hostage to think that he's going to speak to me the same way that I speak to him. Sometimes, yes, Shonda, he speaks on a still small voice. And we need to be open to the second side of communication. What am I saying, you all? Just be as prone to listen as we are to speak. Be as prone to listen as we are to speak. And then, just as this quote say, don't have a one-sided conversation, but involve yourself in communication. Communication is only conversation when it's one way. All right, I want to get to the next quote. But what is the challenge? Cutler, really, bottom line, what is the challenge? The challenge is for us to be better at our communication. Let's listen. When I was growing up, I would hear folks say, there's a reason God gave you one mouth and two ears so that we can hear and listen twice as much as we speak. Let's be better. All right. So if that doesn't apply to you, put it in your arsenal and share that with somebody tomorrow, or watch how someone responds to you and say, I wonder, are these people even listening to what I have to say? And then I'm going to get off this. I'm going to leave this in just a moment. But I also sometimes think in terms of communication, I think about the times when people are speaking to us. Cutler, don't get in trouble. But I think about the times when people are speaking to us and we are so prone to respond to the third word that they have said. We're so prone. Thank you, Auntie. My friend Auntie's Advice Channel for Women is here. She says, hey, Bishop, looking good. But you know, Auntie, you're always look good. My friend, it's good to see you. But sometimes we are so prone. When people are speaking and talking to us, they may get out 5 or 10 good words out of their mouth, and we hang on to those words. But then they got 15 or 20 more words to give us, but we're still stuck on the first few words. And so we don't give them a chance to hear what they're saying to us. You all be more prone to listen than we are to speak. That's all. That is the challenge. If we're driving along this highway and we're going to be better, let's be better at communication. Better at communication with God and everybody else. All right, so then, let's move on to the quote for August the 16th. The quote for August the 16th says this. Quote for August 16th says, I'm going to get to the quote for August 16th. I'm going to get to the quote for August 16th, but I want to go back. Let's be fair with people. The same way that we want people to listen and hear us when we're speaking, let's give them the same courtesy. Have you ever formulated your thought? I used to teach this seminar, and sometimes I still do a workshop. It's called The Art of Argument. And I say to people, you can't argue with me if you don't know my complete thought. You can't argue with me if you don't know my complete thought. Because my complete thought means that you've given me a chance to say everything that I need to say. You've given me the courtesy of not only hearing, but listening. And then you can respond completely to what I've said and not the first 5 words that came out of my mouth. That's when people get to fussing and fighting and feuding. There's an art to arguing. You can't argue properly unless you know what the person has said. All right. So anyway, let's be fair in our communications. If we're going to be better, let's going to be better. Let's going to be better. Cutler, what are you saying, sir? If we're going to be better, let's be better. Let's be better with all of our communications. I mean that, all right? So then, listen, I'm telling you all. I'm telling you. And remember, I don't want to leave you all, so I want to remind you of this. Remember, I said that we're almost through this book, so I was telling you that I want to say thank you for being with me. So if you have the book and you've been here with me for a while, we're almost through the book. I want to send you a way of, I want to see you a nice little just token to say thank you. So, hey, I'm going to drop my email right here, talktocutler@gmail.com. If you want to get a bookmarker that I will autograph and send to you, just drop me your address and I'll autograph it and send it to you. But it's just my way of saying thank you for being here with me. But my friend Auntie, don't worry. You know how you know how to reach me. We can sit and chat and talk about this as much as you want to. But you all, I'm telling you, this was not something that just came naturally for me. I had to learn to give people the courtesy of hearing them the same way that I wanted to be heard. It would infuriate me to no end for people not to give me the courtesy of hearing me. And I realized, Cutler, you've done the same thing to people. So no, I need to be very transparent. This is not one of those things that just magically came to me, but it came to me with years of time and growth and wisdom. And I said, if you're going to be one who says that you respect people, you have to respect their conversations as well. That's just something that I had to grow and learn. All right. I'm going to get to the quote for August the 16th. The quote for August 16th says, God will not only redeem your time. I know y'all are thinking I'm going somewhere with this, but hang on. God will not only redeem your time, but he will also redeem your tears. He knows how to give you blessings that are worth every tear that you have ever asked. Y'all hang on, because I know, and just in case you think I'm going one place with this, let's just see how I put a spin on this and how I turn this one around. But the quote is there in the book for August 16th, which was, yesterday. Sometimes I wonder, you all, if the universe is holding a big clock and calendar, just waiting for the right time to give and to bless and to bestow and to deliver all kinds of goodness and blessings and miracles and wonders, because this is, God will redeem your time and your tears. But I wonder if the universe is holding this big clock just ready to give us this stuff. I think about concepts like karma and reaping and sowing. I think about something my grandparents used to say, what goes around comes around. Y'all know I'm from the country. What goes around comes around. I think about the concept of repayment. And the one thing that gives me joy, you all, is this, that for every action, there's an equal opposite reaction. So for all of the good that you do, there's a measure of goodness that is coming in return. For all of the not so good that I do, there's a measure of not so good that is coming in return. It really is. So I want to remind us to keep on doing good. I know in this day and age, we don't get a whole lot of people reminding us to do good, but I want to remind us to keep on doing good. Whenever you're tempted to take the low road, do good. Whenever you are tempted to deviate from the path of integrity and morality, do good. When you're tempted to respond to people with the negativity that they give to you, do good, you all. Good comes back to you in so many ways. When you do good, you don't have to look over your shoulder. You don't have to watch your back because you've done good. And included in this whole notion of doing good, one of the things that we have to be is patient. Has anybody ever heard the statement that patience is a virtue? You all, it really is. Patience speaks to, I'm talking about how God will redeem your time and your tears. Patience speaks to our ability to tolerate the delays and tolerate the problems and the sufferings without getting so annoyed. Never seen a generation of people who are so annoyed with so many things and impatient about so much stuff. But patience speaks to our ability to persevere and endure. I think about the people on whose shoulders we stand and how they had the ability and the forward and the wherewithal to endure and persevere. And when I think about this concept of this concept of endurance and time and patience, I think about where we are now as a nation, you all. I've thought about it so much over the past few days, where we are as a nation, as a people, and even as a world. With respect to this pandemic, we are truly in a global situation that really does test our ability to be anxious for nothing. We're in a situation that challenges our ability to wait patiently. We're in a situation, you all, and I know some of us are getting tired. Some of us are getting frustrated. Some of us are getting impatient. Some of us have become annoyed. Some of us have developed anxiety. Some of us have developed high blood pressure, but I want to encourage us to hang in there. We don't hear a whole lot of politicians, a whole lot of leaders just simply saying, just hang in there. No, I don't have a crystal ball. No, God hasn't given me insight. No, I don't know when this is going to be over. I don't even know that this disease is going to be eradicated. But I do know that we're not going through it alone. Cutler, how can you be so bold as to say that? Because every Tuesday and Thursdays at 8 o'clock, we meet here in this space, even if only for a brief respite. What are we doing? We're checking in on each other. And while we're checking in on each, oh my God, you all, I almost went off, because what I do know is this: while we're checking in on each other, God is checking in on us. That's why at the end of every broadcast, you all hear me reminding us to let's build community and maintain connectivity, so that we are not going through this alone, so that we don't leave anybody to go through this thing by themselves. We don't know how much longer it's going to last with this Delta variant coming. We have no idea. But while we're checking in on each other, God is checking in on every single one of us. So my encouragement, my admonition at the end of each broadcast is, let's keep building community, you all. Let's keep maintaining connectivity. I think it was Thomas Paine who maybe around had to be 1776. It was Thomas Paine who said something like, these are the times that try men's soul. No, Thomas Paine, I dare say these are the times that try men's soul. You were looking at a corrupt government and politics, and a conflict with people fighting each other taking place. But if you really want to see such a time that try men's soul, I would invite you to travel through the corridors of time and arrive at February or March of 2020. And then travel on through the rest of that year to come down to August 2021 with us. These are the times that try men's soul. It's testing our ability to love. It's testing our ability to even sleep. It's testing out. These are the times that are trying men's souls, you all. But what I know is this. My faith reminds me that God is the God of recompense. He doesn't allow you to endure and to persevere without a reward or without repayment. Oh my God, I need to hold on to the seat. So that's why I say do as much good as you can while we're enduring this, you all. Because I believe that for just as much as we sow, we're going to reap. And the beauty of this particular quote is that sometimes we get double for our endurance. We get double for our perseverance. We get double for our patience. I just as well go here. I would just as well go ahead since I'm here. I live in the promise that says he'll give me double for my shame, double for my perseverance, double for my struggles, double for my heartbreak, double for doing right, even when it doesn't seem right to do right. He will give me double for my tears. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Endure, be patient, persevere, y'all. Hang in there. Let's check on each other. Let's build community. Let's be accountable and responsible for one another. And just as we're going through, watch God not only redeem our time, but he will redeem our tears. Yeah. If you know me, I can say this because I do. I love, but I love Chick-fil-A, and I love the times when I go there and I order my little chicken strips, and when I open the box, there are more chicken strips in there than I thought I had ordered. That's what God's going to do for a lot of us. We're expecting him to just give us, the 3 or the 4 that we ordered, and we got 5 or 6. Because he's looked at our endurance, he's looked at our perseverance, he's looked at our patience, he's looked at how we've held on, how we've built community, how we've maintained connectivity, how we've checked on the senior citizens, how we've checked in on the elderly, how we've not left the young people aside. I'm telling you all, do good when it doesn't even seem right to do good. He will redeem not only your time, but your tears. I got to move on to the quote for today, August the 17th. Got to get to the Cutler, where are you reading from? What is going on? If you're tuning in for the first time, I am only here for 1,800 seconds. So I need you all to go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Click on the notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I've gone live, whenever I've uploaded new content. And then I need y'all to just share this, share, and tell everybody to subscribe. Come on. All right? Because this channel is about inspiration and motivation. It's about challenging us while we're on this caravan riding and driving together. How in the world can I show up a little bit better tomorrow than I did today? Today wasn't a flop, but tomorrow can be better. All right. So we're reading these quotes, unpacking them, and see how can they apply. I'm going to go to the quote for August 17th, which is today. The quote for August 17th, y'all, hang on. It says, the world was never intended. I have to tell y'all what I told somebody one day. I said, I'm not hollering. I'm just speaking in an excited manner. I'm not hollering. I'm just speaking in an excited manner. So if you all haven't done so, please do a thumbs up on this conversation. It says in YouTube, I like what that guy's talking about, but it also encourages me. So make sure that you click on the thumbs up to like the conversation. The world was never intended to be without light, and neither were we. We were designed to always carry and reflect the light of God. Let me say this to y'all. I really want to encourage my fellow passengers this evening. I want to thank you all for riding along with us. I know some of us will, I know that some of us are becoming despondent. I know some of us are becoming discontent. I know some of us are becoming disheartened. I know some of us have already become disappointed. Some of us are already disgruntled. And many of us are feeling the darkness of the moment. But I want to remind us all that the world was never meant to be dark, and neither were we. Auntie, please tell your brother that I said a very happy birthday. A very happy birthday to your brother from Cutler, all right? You all, so many of us, we are feeling the darkness of the moment. And I want to remind us all that the world was never meant to be dark, and neither were we. If I can just get us to grab hold to that concept, the world was never meant to be dark, and neither were we. Come on, how could you say that? Because you all, apart from an occasional solar eclipse, the world has never been without light. And there are times when I have to remind myself that I am part of God's creation, and just as the world has never been without light, neither did He intend for me to be without light. Whew. He created us in His image and in His likeness. And just as He declared that He is the light of the world, and He put a part of Himself inside of us so that we don't have to be consumed by the evil and the darkness of the day, we were designed to carry and to be light. I want you to be reminded that you have light inside of you. And for many people, that light, that for many people who may tune in one day and say, Cutler, what are you talking about? What is that light that you're talking about? For some people, you all, the light is just the longing, the desire to be connected with something that is greater than ourselves. And once we turn that light on, it becomes a refuge, a safe space, a place for us to go in the time of trouble. So I want to challenge us on two accounts. I want to challenge us, you all. I want to challenge us to turn on our lights so that we can help others see. That's one account. Let's turn on our lights so we can help other people see. And then if no one else turns on, you all, here I go with this. If no one else turns on their light so that you can see, turn on your own light so that you don't have to sit in darkness. Turn on your own. Cutler, what do you mean? Turn on your own light so that you can enjoy the peace, the happiness, the positivity, the brilliance, the hope, the victory, the splendor, and the glory of being a part of God's creation. Somebody just wrote, turn on your light. Here is what I realized, you all. Here's what I realized. Think about it. If you are sitting in darkness, when you turn your light on, nothing changes. Your space, nothing changes. I want to give us a dose of reality, but I want to encourage us to get this concept. Because if you are in darkness, the moment you turn your light on, it doesn't change where you are. I'm still sitting in the same spot. I'm just not sitting in darkness. Turning your light on never changes where you are, but it gives you hope and options for where you can be. Turning on your light never changes where you are, but it gives you hope and options for where you can be. That is what I hope we're doing every Tuesday and Thursday when we come to the same space. To illuminate options and to illuminate possibilities and to illuminate hope and to illuminate the fact that better is possible, to illuminate the fact that I have not only one but multiple victories awaiting me, to illuminate the fact that success doesn't just have to be a dream, to illuminate the fact every Tuesday and Thursday we turn on the light to illuminate the fact that I can be better tomorrow than I was today. You all, I want to say thank you so much for this time and for this space. Whatever space you've allowed me to share, I don't take it for granted. Whatever time you've offered me today, I want to say thank you. Listen, you all make sure that you join me every Tuesday, every Thursday at 8 o'clock. I'm here sometimes a little for 1,800 seconds, but if you all push me, I'm here for just a little more. But I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for sharing this time and this space with me. I am so encouraged just by seeing you all. Do me a favor, you all. Let's continue building community. Let's continue maintaining connectivity. Keep your heads up, keep your hope up, and have hope in yourself. And then as there is this pandemic, let's stay safe and let's stay sane. One more time, if you want and would like to get an autograph bookmarker, just as my way of saying thank you for riding along with me. There's my email address. Shoot me your address, and I promise you, I will drop it in the mail. I'll autograph it, and I'll send it to you. So until next week, please know this: from my heart to yours, there is and always will be so much love. Good night.